Și după cum probabil deja v-ați dat seama, sunt moderatoarea sesiunii 4 din cadrul celei de-a 7-a ediții a conferinței internaționale Lumen, New Approaches in Social and Humanistic Sciences. Această sesiune este cu o reprezentativitate de 100% a Universității Babes-Bolyai din Cluj, o serie de lucrări foarte interesante. Prima dată voi da cuvântul domnului Sorin Găină, doctorand la Universitatea Babes-Bolyai din Cluj, cu o lucrare intitulată A Foray into the Intelligence World, the U Brigade, as part of the Foray Intelligence Service of Romania during the Communist regime. Vă rog, fiecare prezentator are 10 minute pentru prezentare, 10 minute pentru discuții. Eu voi fi persoana antipatică care vă voi aduce aminte în măsura în care vă apropiază depășirea timpului că se întâmplă. Îmi cer scuze de acum pentru intervențiile pe care le voi avea eventual. Vă rog, domnule Găină.
Doar o mică întrebare. Cum ar fi de preferat să prezentăm în engleză sau în română?
În de față nu pot să avem participanți străini, vorbitori de limbă engleză în această sesiune. Prin urmare, începem în limba română și dacă intră participanți din străinătate, trecem pe engleză, dacă nu are nimeni nimic împotrivă.
Ok, pentru mine e ok oricum.
Vă ascultăm.
Bună, mă puteți vedea?
Da.
Ok. Bună, mă numesc Sorin Găină, sunt doctorand la Universitatea Babes-Bolyai din Cluj-Napoca, România, doctorand la Facultatea de Istorie și astăzi vom vorbi despre lumea inteligențului, mai exact despre divizia Brigada U sau Divizia U, așa cum a fost ea cunoscută, sub Departamentul de Informații Externe, departament care a activat în România din 1972 până în 1978 și ulterior a fost cunoscut sub numele de Centru de Informații Externe până în decembrie 1989, iar la acest moment sub numele de SIE. Bine, cu readaptările ulterioare unei democrații. Brigada U cred că a fost printre cea mai controversată datorită activității sale. A fost o brigadă specială care a evoluat de-a lungul timpului datorită practicilor folosite din vremea SSI-ului și mai apoi a tehnicilor preluate și îmbunătățite post-1945 de la KGB. Brigada se ocupa practic cu pregătirea ofițerilor pe deplin conspirați, așa cunoscuți sub numele de ilegali. Ofițerii pregătiți în această brigadă au mai fost cunoscuți și sub numele de ofițeri fantomă. De ce? Deoarece beneficiau de o instruire, o pregătire individuală și de un nivel conspirat în ceea ce privește o biografie legendă, adevăratul lor nume fiind cunoscut doar de cadrul lor ierarhic și de șeful compartimentului de personal, HR, cum se spune astăzi, din centrală. Centrala fiind instituția de bază a Departamentului de Informații Externe a României în acea perioadă. Acest tip de agenți avea un dascăl, să-i spunem așa, un ofițer instructor la direcției și erau instruiți pentru a desfășura acțiuni pur informative de spionaj sau de contraspionaj și de culegerea informații, mai ales în țările în care România avea interes, cu mai multă importanță în țările în care România nu avea la acel moment ambasade sau cu care nu avea relații diplomatice. Cum se făcea recrutarea viitorilor ofițeri? În mare parte, recrutarea viitorilor ofițeri se făcea din rândul studenților, rândul tinerilor, cu precădere a celor care beneficiau de o pregătire superioară, dădeau dovadă de calități deosebite și care arătau de asemenea posibilitatea de construire a unei biografii legendă pentru a deveni așa numiți ilegali. Viitorul candidat de obicei era înfilat pentru o perioadă de aproximativ un an sau doi. Aceasta era o măsură de precauție. De asemenea, o altă măsură de precauție era ca viitorul candidat să nu fie nicio legătură cu trupele de securitate, a nu se confunda securitatea cu Departamentul de Informații Externe. Și, după cum spuneam, aceasta era o măsură de precauție necesară și mai ales unul din principalele puncte care trebuiau îndeplinite. După acest proces de filare și după ce se realiza faptul că nu era în legătură cu cadrele interne de informații, viitorului ofițer se prezenta oferta de muncă și dacă acesta o accepta, bineînțeles, după trecerea anumitor teste, aceasta coincidea cu o pregătire în 3 pași și anume, în 3 etape. În prima etapă, ofițerul se specializa în culegerea de informații, în transmiterea de informații, adaptarea la situații diferite de muncă, de asemenea și în cunoașterea zonelor geografice. În a doua etapă era una dintre cele mai grele, poate chiar cea mai grea, și anume crearea biografiei legendă. Și ca în a treia etapă, ofițerul împreună cu instructorul respectiv să formeze un cod cifrat de comunicare prin care să comunice cu centrala în anumite situații în care nu se putea comunica pe alte canale. Ok. De asemenea, pentru acea perioadă, în timpul parcurgerii celor 3 etape de formare, viitorii ofițeri erau pregătiți, bineînțeles, politic, ideologic, conform regimului de la București de la acea perioadă.
Let's please move to English. We have a participant from abroad.
Okay. No problem. This kind of officer, the illegals, helped Romania to obtain information regarding nuclear studies, oil industries, but also helped Romania in order to create some international relations with different states where Romania did not have the embassy, as I said before. Finally, after the betrayal of Ion Mihai Pacepa in June 1978, the brigade was restructured under the new service known as CIE, the Central for Foreign Intelligence, and was established until the Romanian Revolution in 1978. This was my presentation. If you have any other questions, please let me know, and I'm happy to be here today with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will leave questions and the interventions of the participants for the final part of the session. No Next, we will listen to Mr. Vlad Onaciu, PhD student within Babes-Bolyai University of Cluj, Romania, with a paper entitled The Informal Society, Creating an Alternative Economy for Informal Exchanges and Criminal Activities During Communism, an Institutional Perspective. Mr. Onaciu, please present your paper.
First of all, I'd like to say hello to everyone. I've managed to make my camera work in the meantime. So basically, my presentation is going to be on the research that I did during my PhD, which was focused on social and economic transformations in Romanian communism, with a case study on the city of Cluj-Napoca. So basically what I found while looking in the archives were documents from local authorities and from the Securitate, from the former secret police, which, well, basically mentioned shortages during communism. Of course, this is a very well-known aspect of communism, shortages. However, what I found were strategies used by people to overcome this phenomenon. And basically, my research focused mostly on the institutional perspective, mainly on the narrative created by the authorities. And here I would like to mention that anyone reading the documents created by the former secret police should pay attention to the agenda of the officers, what they were trying to transmit, because the narrative that they create is going to serve a certain purpose, and it's going to try and transmit a certain message. So it might, well, not be the most objective narrative one can find in the archives. Of course, something similar goes for the local authorities and their documents. They also tried portraying themselves as more positive than in reality. So mainly I focused on two aspects here. That first was, well, defining the criminal nature of most of these strategies. While they were indeed common practice and a lot of people got involved in them, they were also condemned by the penal code of that era, and most of these activities are still punished by the penal code, namely stealing from the workplace, embezzling, abuse of position, or even smuggling. Actually, you can find a lot of documentation on smuggling of precious metals, gold, and jewelry, which technically were under the monopoly of the state, and you'd have to undergo a series of bureaucratic procedures in order to, well, have certain quantities of gold. Of course, I was able to identify these activities in the documents, in official documents, and what I did next, after looking over the laws and trying to see how certain activities were punished over time, I went and I tried interviewing people so they would tell me their experience with being involved in I don't know, stealing from the workplace or embezzling. What's interesting here, and in fact, a lot of researchers, especially those focusing on the Soviet Union, found out that people are willing to talk if they're not recorded. The moment you tell them that they're going to be recorded, this conversation is going to be recorded, they would sort of lock up, and they wouldn't tell you, and wouldn't give you as much information as before in an informal setting. So what's interesting is that despite this aspect of, let's call it paranoia, people trying to protect themselves, because yeah, if you got caught embezzling or stealing from the workplace, you'd probably get sent to jail. Actually, one of the people that I interviewed said something like, and then I ended up where I shouldn't have ended, namely in jail. He actually got sentenced 2 or 3 times to jail for stealing from the workplace. He used to work on a collective farm. Okay, and one other interesting aspect and a huge debate within historiography is if the regime tolerated this type of activities, this, let's call it an informal economy, of this informal economy, if they tolerated it because, yeah, it came and, well, filled in the gaps they couldn't, namely people smuggling certain goods. Yeah, by looking at the documents, that is not the case. People, well, yeah, the authorities were totally against it, and it made sense to be against it because, well, first of all, it created the problem of legitimacy. Namely, there was an alternative system working at the same time as the official one wasn't able to satisfy the needs of the people. So obviously that was a huge issue. And the second one was the fact that this informal economy hindered the official one because it operated with stolen resources, stolen goods, or using equipment from the workplace. And this interrupted the production process. So we can actually find a lot of proof that the Securitate and the Militia organized a lot of surveillance and sting operations aimed at catching people involved in stealing from the workplace or embezzlement, even abuse of position. And basically, this is how yeah, I stumbled upon information of these activities was from reports on surveillance and sting operations. The Securitate went as far as infiltrating informants within queues at shops. So yeah, that's the level they went to. And I think, yeah, I'd mentioned that the most information I got was from a archival fund at CNSAS, at the archives of the former Securitate, and it was basically aimed at gathering information on the state of mind of the people. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything similar on other counties. This was only for Cluj County during the 70s and 80s. It might have been something linked to the learning process, the learning curve of the Securitate in surveilling the population, or it could also be something linked to how the files were grouped before they were given to the archives, or even what files survived and which files were lost to time, which is quite a common occurrence. Yeah, I think that would be my presentation. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Thank you very much too, and thank you for sticking to your time limit. That was great. Because this will let us listen to Mr. Bence Prokop's presentation, which I personally look forward to without any time pressure. So Mr. Prokop will present a paper entitled The Psychology of Us versus Them in the World of Documentaries. Mr. Prokop, you have 10 minutes to present your paper, please.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone. My name is Bence Prokop. I'm finishing my master's degree studies at UBB in documentary filmmaking. And my research was done on the psychology of the us versus them theory utilized in the world of documentaries. Well, first of all, what is the psychology of us versus them? People or humans by nature seek belongingness. So it is an essential need to be a part of a group and to be socially accepted. It is even part of Maslow's hierarchy. It is right in the middle of that pyramid. Anyways, I digress. Okay, so the us versus them theory utilizes the need to belong somewhere in order to create two groups, the in group and the out group. By in group meaning the group that a subject or in this case the audience of a documentary belongs. The out group being the outsiders who contradict the inner group. Us versus them was used in marketing for ages, basically. I'm sure that many of us can even remember like television commercials where one product compared itself to its competitors in order to present itself as the superior product. I don't know if I will be able to share my screen. I would like to share a really quick 1-minute commercial with you in order to illustrate the point. Let's see if I can do that. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Thank you. I'm sure that this short commercial did a better job of explaining the theory than I did. But yes, so as you could see, the fundamentals was not dividing the audience, but creating these two fictional subcategories like the us versus them. And I used Morgan Spurlock's 2004 movie, a documentary, Super Size Me, which is one of my personal favorites, as a case study, because it touches on every stage, or it implements in its every stage the us versus them theory, starting with its concept and its premise, which was really shortly, like the documentary was about a the documentary was about the director consuming exclusively McDonald's for 30 days and the side effects that came from this experiment. So it utilized basically the war on obesity, which was and still is really popular in modern day America. And this really helped his marketing strategy, basically, because the audiences could not only empathize with him, but there was also a cause that they could stand behind, mainly the war on obesity. This separation and this basically conflict between the individual, in this case the director, versus the greedy corporate portrayed by McDonald's, was also emphasized by the marketing campaign itself, as in posters, trailers, and so on, to further drive the point home that there is like an ongoing conflict and the audience has to take sides. When we are talking about the us versus them theory, we have to mention Schadenfreude, which is a German expression referring to the feeling of pleasure derived from the other's pain, basically. Early on the documentaries, as in the Super Size Me's marketing strategy, there was a really highly publicized lawsuit between the director and McDonald's that ended up being won by the director. And this gave a huge amount of organic traffic, and as in word of mouth and social media advertising at the time. So it gave a huge boost. It even made it one of the highest grossing movies of all time. It is like the 40th highest grossing documentary, sorry, not movies of all time, when adjusted for inflation. And advertising, which is also called below the line advertising or marketing.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. So yeah, in conclusion, first of all, I would like anyone interested in it who didn't see my full presentation on the YouTube channel to check it out, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your presentation. I'm sure if you already watched it on YouTube, definitely will after this presentation. Now we can ask questions and make commentaries. If any of the participants have any questions for the presenters. Well, I have to confess, there is an issue I would like to Mr. Prokop maybe to emphasize a little bit. What do you think about the ethics of creating commercials that transmit this message, us versus them?
Mă scuzați, cred că există un efect de microfonie acolo, se aude un zgomot de fundal foarte puternic. Ar trebui făcut ceva, fiindcă este aproape imposibil să vă auzim.
Okay, I managed to understand the question. Yes, it is an ethically really debatable subject, and it is a really thin line that I think personally, at least, often gets crossed. And besides my personal opinion, there are huge lawsuits based on this fact that the us versus them methodology and psychology was used in an unethical way. For me personally, I think it can be a great marketing tool, and it can even be an ethical one if it used with moderation and correctly, and presumably with a funny intonation, and if it's not a personal attack, and if it's not a personal attack on any single company or individual, like it was in the case of the McDonald's. So it was so generalized, the outgroup, that I think it stayed within the limits of good ethics.
If there is problem with microphone at Andra's place, I please Anna Frunze to continue moderate this final session. Anna, are you with us?
Hi, I'm with you, but as I was aware, this session has only a few minutes to continue. Yes, I was just listening to our author. Thank you for your intervention. Thank you for your answers. Please continue asking questions or addressing comments for all our authors. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. Please, are there any questions or any other supplementary ideas that the authors would like to bring to their presentation?
I will have a quick note.
Please.
Thank you for offering us this opportunity. And also, if you would like to know more about the so-called spies, the illegals, or what was the U Brigade, you can check my video on YouTube, and you can ask as many questions if you want, even ping me if you need it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's time to thanks to all participants to this Lumen conference. It was a great pleasure for me, at least, I think for everyone, to hear this wonderful presentation. It's important to move from on-site conference to online conference. It's more accessible for the public. It's more important to could interact with each other in a transdisciplinary way. So I welcome you to the next conference and to be part of our summer school in applied ethics tomorrow, for those who already registered or who will register until this evening, until tomorrow at least, because we try to make flip learning on what is applied ethics and what is practical ethics, ethics of publication and bioethics and so on. It's important for researchers to know bioethics, not because bioethics could be universal, but because now it's problem of ethical in research or ethical in practical life. And there was questions about what is ethical or not ethical in advertising. You answer these questions. Is it ethical to advertise me against you? This is how all advertising at this point works. It's and how the society still works. It's us against them, because it's more the is more easy. So is it important? Could it be changed? I welcome you tomorrow on this Lumen Summer School in Applied Ethics. Also, I welcome you to send papers to be published in Lumen journals, in all of our journals, but especially in Postmodern Openings and Revista Românească pentru Educație Multidimensională and in Brain, all journals covered in Web of Science, and also in Logos Universality, Mentality, Education, Novelty, with the sections in social science, in humanistic, in political science, and in economics, Erich Plus journals, and Moldavian journals of psychology, and Eastern European Journal of Medical Humanities. We have many journals, so please come with us in publication. Come with us in publication in Lumen Publishing House. Now, also in United Kingdom, we start to publish books in international level. We distribute all over the world through Ingram and through cooperation with our partners from United Kingdom and soon our partners from United States. And very soon Lumen will expand with a branch in United States, also to the branch in the United Kingdom. So be with us and come on the Lumen channel on YouTube. There will be, you can find there all the presentation in this conference, and also you can find there previous conferences and lectures and presenting and book launching and so on, and new topics will be added daily. So be with us on YouTube, and of course we like to ask you a few questions, to interview you for our channels about your experience with Lumen. Also be part in Lumen family in Facebook on the page Lumen Conference Center, on the page of Lumen Publishing House, and on the page of our journals. All of our journals have a Facebook page, and you are most welcome to be there. Also, I'm delighted to invite you to be part of the Lumen family by subscribe to be editors or to be consultant or reviewers for our journals. It's important for us to have qualitative publication by having a very qualitative group of reviewers and editors. This is why we try to do is to make something impossible to be a current reality, our current reality, only because you come with us. We cannot organize conference nor publish good papers in journals or publish good books if you, the Lumen's participants in conference, or authors or editors are not trust in Lumen. And what I want to stress is importance to hear each other, not only to present my paper and just go on and make our own channel to discuss separately. Because why we came on the conference, we can just organize our private meeting or private room. If you come to the conference, you can communicate with one each other. So you have channels, you have Facebook, you can discuss poster presentation. Also, you can discuss every presentation on YouTube. You have the possibility to do this on YouTube channels or on the Facebook, because all the presentation from YouTube was reposted on the Facebook, and you can address questions and receive answers from participants. It's important to hear each other. It's important to make a community of not only of the participants to a conference. It's important to be a community of researchers who adhere to idea of transdisciplinarity, to adhere of ethical practice, ethical values, because we stress on ethics in all our conference and in all our seminars. It's important also for us to hear your voice, to hear your opinion, your ideas. So please send us your opinion and or post it on our Facebook pages or send it to our emails. We are always interested to hear what's your opinion, what your desire, what your wish for us to give to you, our readers, our participants, our beneficiary, what is most important for you. And most important is that we do not only science, but also art, also literature, also education. Not the science is only important thing, but we try to be a scientific publishing house and scientific journal owner and journal manager. So once again, thank you for your participation. Thank you for all of our Lumen teams that was involved in preparation of this conference. It was a very great effort. I see that, and we will have a congress next year because we will have 20 years since our start. So we welcome you to join starting from now to the next editions in winter probably, or in November in Târgoviște and online, but in next May. Welcome you to the World Lumen Congress 2021. So until then, stay together, stay online, and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antonio.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a great experience to be with you, with all of you online.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Bye.